Sony had never done this before. In the entire history of the PlayStation Store, no major game had ever been removed from sale entirely. Not for bugs, not for bad reviews, never. But on December 18, 2020, just 8 days after launch, that's exactly what happened to Cyberpunk 2077. To understand how one of the most anticipated games ever made ended up pulled from digital shelves, we have to go back. Back to 2012, before Night City was anything more than an idea.
The year is 2077. An economic crisis culminating in nuclear conflict has left America in pieces.
Cyberpunk 2077 was announced in 2012. CD Projekt Red had just come off The Witcher 2, and this new project was a huge swing. A first-person, open-world RPG set in a neon-soaked dystopia, based on a decades-old tabletop game most players had never heard of. For years, it was mostly silence. Then in 2018, at E3, CD Projekt Red showed a 48-minute gameplay demo that changed everything.
Main issues, sky-high rate of violence, and more people living below the poverty line than anywhere else.
People walked out of that demo calling it one of the most impressive things they'd ever seen in a video game. Hacking enemies' brains mid-firefight, a living city that reacted to you, total character customization. It felt like the next generation of RPGs, years before it was even close to done. Then in 2019, Keanu Reeves walked out on stage at E3 to reveal he was playing Johnny Silverhand, a character woven through the entire story. The crowd lost it. You're breathtaking. That clip alone generated headlines for weeks. By 2020, Cyberpunk 2077 wasn't just a video game anymore, it was one of the most hyped entertainment releases of the decade. Pre-orders were breaking records. It had already been delayed 3 times, from April to September to November, and finally landed on December 10, 2020. Nobody was ready for what happened next. On PC, with a strong enough rig, Cyberpunk 2077 mostly delivered on the promise. But on base PS4 and Xbox One, the consoles the vast majority of players actually owned, the game was, frankly, broken. Textures failed to load, character models fell through the map, frame rates dropped into the teens, players were posting clips daily of cars floating, NPCs glitching through walls, and crashes that booted them straight to the console's home screen. CD Projekt Red apologized publicly and told players on console to request refunds directly, which was a problem because Sony and Microsoft historically didn't refund digital purchases at all. Within days, both platforms made an exception, flooded with requests. And then, on December 18th, Sony did what no platform holder had done before. They pulled Cyberpunk 2077 from the PlayStation Store completely and offered blanket refunds. It would stay off the store for 6 months. What happened next is the part most people missed because they'd already stopped paying attention. CD Projekt Red didn't abandon the game. Patch after patch went out through 2021. It wasn't fast, and it wasn't glamorous, mostly bug fixes, performance passes, quiet stability work. Cyberpunk returned to the PlayStation Store on June 21, 2021, 6 months after it was pulled. Then, in September 2022, something unexpected happened. Netflix released Cyberpunk, Edgerunners, an anime prequel produced with Studio Trigger. It wasn't just good, it was one of the best reviewed anime of the year. And it sent players flooding back to the game. Steam player counts jumped dramatically within days of the anime's release. CD Projekt Red used that momentum. In September 2023, they released Update 2.0, a massive free overhaul of the skill system, police AI, and vehicle combat, alongside Phantom Liberty, a full-story expansion starring Idris Elba. Reviewers who had written the game off in 2020 were now calling it one of the best RPGs of the generation. Cyberpunk 2077 didn't become one of gaming's biggest comeback stories overnight. It took almost 3 years of patches, an anime nobody saw coming, and a studio that, for once, didn't just move on to the next project and let the wreckage sit. It's a rare story in gaming. The same game, the same city, going from a symbol of broken promises to something people genuinely love. Whether that redemption makes up for how it launched is still something fans argue about. But it's hard to think of another game that clawed its way back this far. If you've played Cyberpunk 2077, especially after Phantom Liberty, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want more deep dives like this, subscribe, because this is just the beginning.